Let's get ready to rumble!
James Talarico has been catching everyone's attention, and now even Megyn Kelly is basically sounding the alarms for the GOP in Texas. Let's see what she says about the GOP and against James Talarico in the Texas Senate race.
When it comes to this James Talarico, I mean, I feel like people like us normies look at this guy and his insanity and say, there's no way this person's going to do well in Texas. And my pal Jesse Kelly assures me he's not going to. So I'm going to go with Jesse, but the polls look bad for Republicans on this. I'm trying to pull up RCP. No, this is the latest poll that just hit out of Senate in Texas. And it shows Talarico with 48 and Cornyn 42. Keep in mind, we don't know who the Republican will be yet. It's either Cornyn or Paxton. And 49 to Paxton's 42. So he's beating Paxton by 7 points. He's beating Cornyn by 6 points right now. That's terrifying because here's just one example of his madness. This is him speaking at his home church, St. Andrews in 2025, SOT 53.
Christ is the immigrant deported without due process. Christ is the senior deprived of their Social Security benefits. Christ is the protester kidnapped in an unmarked vehicle by plainclothes officers.
And this is one thing I keep pointing out with James Talarico. When you watch the Rogan interview with him, and then you watch him with Ezra Klein, it's his demeanor, the projection that he has. He's very nice. He's very the David French article that basically said it's because James Talarico is the type of Christian that people want to engage in, not like the MAGA Christians or the Christian nationalists, but he personifies just decency. He personifies that, and this is what's happening. That even Joe Rogan, when he was having that interview with him or that podcast with him, basically said, you should run for president. So James Talarico is just a very nice person saying that Jesus doesn't say nothing about abortion. Mary was pro-abortion. Jesus is the young kid in the detention, in the ICE detention. Jesus is the homeless person. Jesus is a transgender. Jesus loves all kids. Transgender kids are made in the image of God. And again, it's quite funny to me to hear James Talarico and then people get mad at Christian nationalists. Oh, they're pushing the country towards Christian nationalism. Look at the setting that James Talarico is trying to invoke in a political race.
So a little concerned, Isabel, about how it's not, I don't even would describe that as tight. Like a 7-point lead for Talarico is actually pretty solid. Yeah. It's kind of scary.
It is scary. And honestly, Megyn, it should be scaring a whole lot more people on the political right. I keep hearing that this guy's so crazy. He's so insane. No one will ever vote for him. But I don't think that's generally how the political left is viewing James Talarico. He is a shining star and potentially the new face of the left because he comes across so normal. Shockingly, I know that might be insane for some of your viewers to hear, but they're not covering the more egregious things that James Talarico is saying, things like defining woman as a lens through which to defeat patriarchy, or saying that Mary, the mother of God, is the reason that we should all be pro-abortion, as if we didn't have Jesus Christ come into the world through an unexpected pregnancy. These are the things that he's saying, not just on the campaign trail, but from the pulpit. And yet it's being twisted and manipulated by the media as this form of toxic empathy, where it comes across that you're the person who really cares about the marginalized. You are the person who's doing everything they can to love and accept their neighbor. And in reality, it's actually so hateful for society that you're seeing the erasure of women. You're seeing advocacy for the slaughter of innocent children and a complete twisting of Christianity, the foundation upon which our country was built. I think this is a really scary moment for the left as they grapple with their options of who's going to be our face moving forward, because that's not yet answered. Is it going to be someone like a Zohran Mamdani that's holding Muslim prayer services in the...
I think that the left kind of likes this, right? As much as the left is crazy, and particularly leftists are very crazy and they want to accept everybody, I think most of them would consider would say that they would accept a form of Christianity, and so or something akin to it, right? Something to akin to it. And so James Talarico's coming out, and they're basically saying he is using Christianity in the way that we want to, much like they would say that Christian nationalism has hijacked the MAGA. People have hijacked Christianity to make it into their form of Christianity. Talarico has hijacked it, right? Because like I said before in a lot of other videos that I made about him, is there's never been such a view as Mary being pro-abortion. Never. If there is, it's so minuscule. Less than 1%, I would say, of anybody that's ever held this view. It's not a view that's been debated on. It's not a view that people have been like, oh yeah, it's part of one of the. It's never. He's the one that just all of a sudden pops out and says, Mary's my favorite character because she's pro-abortion. Never. He is twisting Christianity, much like if you're arguing for the MAGA people, he's twisting it to the other side, to the woke side. So the left probably sees it and says, hey, James Talarico actually is using Christianity, and it's actually in our benefit because he's actually he seems sympathetic. He talks the talk. He's basically appealing to the marginalized by saying, hey, Jesus is a transgender. Hey, Jesus is an undocumented immigrant. Hey, Jesus is the black folks that the white people are trying to get rid of. Hey, Jesus is the Somali, right? All of this. He's invoking Jesus again, much like the Christian nationalism that everybody is apparently hating. Oh, that they're gonna try to Christianize the country, right? And so James Talarico is the left's answer to the Christian nationalism, and they think that James Talarico is a good bet, and I believe that they will see him as, dude, he's using Christianity in our favor, right? And it's gotten people like I said, like David French. But David French has already been leaving Orthodox Christianity, and this is the problem too. That another problem here is that Christianity in America has lost itself. It's unorthodox for the most part. Too many denominations have abandoned what we would call the core tenets of Christianity for the culture Christianity, cultural norms now that are accepted. And James Talarico is appealing to that, and it seems to be working in Texas.
New York City mayor's mansion and Gracie Mansion? Or is it going to be this facade of Christianity that looks appealing to the average independent voter or someone who's on the fence, but in reality is pushing this extreme leftism just right under the surface? Yeah, if that's the answer, it's very scary.
Brianna, I look at this guy. I actually think he is more radical than Jasmine Crockett. Like, she was squad friendly, but she didn't engage in this kind of extreme rhetoric when it came to Christianity or, peddling these far, far left progressive views under the guise of Christianity and God-fearing speak. Here's one. This is bizarre.
And I think Stephen A. Smith kind of hit the nail on this. And also people were like, oh, I don't know what I saw some comments, people saying, well, Stephen A. Smith don't know what he's talking about. But at least in this one, he's right. Crockett was more about Trump, white people, bad, MAGA, racist, MAGA fascists. Rico ain't going that way. Talarico's not going that way. Talarico's using Christianity to bring the people to him. And he's appealing. He's using a form of Jesus, a Jesus that he is putting into his image and then giving it to the people. And people are being tickled at it. Like, oh, okay, Jesus is transgender. I didn't know. Oh, there's 6 genders. I didn't know God was like that. Oh, that's crazy. I like this.
This is truly bizarre. Listen to what he said when asked a very simple question just in August of 2023. This is Top 54.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this.
Hey, bro, number one, I listen, what's up with this haircut, dog? Like this comb over, nah, it's like a sitcom, right?
Because it's on my mind. The trans children who showed up yesterday at the state capitol to advocate for their humanity. They shouldn't have to, but it was an inspiration to watch.
Who would say that? That's so bizarre. Like, who do you want to help? who desperately needs psychiatric intervention, who's being abused by parents who are working out their own woke politics on their children. Yeah, maybe. But like, who do you love outside of family? And you go to trans children? Your thoughts on him?
Yeah. And he could have said anything. He could have said, what do I love? I love football, right? Something that would actually resonate with the majority of Americans, and in particular, men, because Democrats have lost young men 18 to 29 in large swaths. So they have to work to get them back. But no, he went to trans children and he said, they're fighting for their humanity. There is nothing humane about cleaving healthy breast tissue off a child. There is nothing humane about mutilating their body. And we have seen so many detransitioners come out and talk about that mental and physical impact of their choices that they made when they simply were not in the right frame of mind.
You know, and this is one thing about the transgender issue. I'm always curious as to how they would answer this, because they're always like, oh, we have to accept them. We have to accept them. And then what? But what happens if you bring up the fact that, what about the ones that went back? What happened? Do you not accept that? Do you think that they were wrong? What's wrong with that? I want to see them in an argument, bring back or be taken to task about these detransitioners that basically said, hey, listen, I was in a state of mind. Oh, I'd love to see the response to these people and how they would interact with that.
And instead of getting them the psychiatric help that they need, he wants to double down on this. And to Isabel's point about Christianity, look, we have heard for years that Christianity is the greatest threat to democracy, right? White Christian men are going to tear this country down. But when James Talarico wants to launder his radical progressivism through his very convoluted interpretation of the Bible, suddenly it's okay, it's cool. And actually, the media is salivating at how he's normalizing Christianity. And
that's a good point, because Talarico is white. He's a Christian, but the media, the Democrats, are accepting of this Christianity because lovey-dovey, hippie, hippie, Jesus. Every religion is okay. Jesus is everybody. We love everybody. They don't like they want to, because in most of the leftists, right? Most of the leftist thing, they want to accept everybody, right? They want to accept everybody. Everybody's okay. Everybody has the right to do all of this. The Muslims are good. The Buddhists, everybody's good. We can all coexist. We're all good. Hey, but the Muslims are trying to take over. Hey, you're Islamophobic. No. Hey, but if we accept transgenderism and try to do it, it's actually going to be bad for society. Oh, you're transphobic. James Talarico, he's white. He's a Christian. Guys, Jesus is transgender. Guys, Jesus was Muslim. Guys, Jesus just is everybody, okay? Oh, yeah, we like this guy.
Bringing back Christianity in a way that's okay for the mainstream media, because they get to decide what's okay and what's not.
Because somehow now it like reinforces all of their weird worldviews, but that's not real Christianity. I mean, this is why when I took a one-day excursion into the Episcopalian church, I walked right out of there as soon as she started the homily, because it was a female priest talking all about how we need to trans our children and support the trans children. And I was out of there and went right back to my Catholic church, which doesn't engage in that nonsense.
Which is actually is an article about what Talarico's part of, the PC USA, right? He's Presbyterian, but this is the Presbyterian, this is the one that splintered off, that has actually seen a decrease in their membership, decrease in their church planting. These are the ones that have actually accepted the deviation of Christianity. Unlike the other ones, the other Presbyterians, these are the ones that have accepted it, and they have seen a fall. They have seen a kind of dwindling of this denomination, because they're accepting the deviation of Christianity, the acceptance of transgenderism, the acceptance of abortion, the exception of Jesus is that everybody should be in this country, that we can't do all of this, that we're supposed to love trans kids, that all of that gay is not a sin. They have accepted all the deviations that for historical Christianity has not accepted, right? And again, this shows the naivety of James Talarico, or the straight up just the ability for him to just ignore historical Christianity when he makes claims that Jesus never talked about homosexuality and abortion, but that conservative Christians or the right-wing Christians are the ones that are bringing it up. He needs to go back and read some of the historical parts of Christianity so he can get a better grasp of what he's talking about.
Now, we're not great on immigration, but we're very solid on the trans issue. And it's one of the many reasons I remained an observant Catholic. Internet.
So I think Megyn brings a good point. I think with those who've been watching the videos of Talarico, you can see it, right? That even normal people that are not religious or not Christians, I think they have a good grasp of what Christianity has taught. And then if they're the ones saying, wait a minute, so Jesus is transgender, Jesus is the immigrant, Jesus is all this, what they'll hear is a different form of Christianity. And basically, the Democrats have done a good job, and leftists have done a good job of basically saying, well, Christian nationalism wants to turn all of us Christians. There's not going to be no freedom under them. They're going to kick out everybody who's not a Christian, all of this stuff. But James Talarico is literally giving you his version of Christianity, but apparently this version of Christianity is the one they like. Why? Like Megyn said, it reinforces that Jesus loves transgender kids. Oh, he loves them. The verse where he says, he tells Peter not to deny the kids to come after him. He was talking about the transgender kids there. Let the kids come to me, all the transgenders, right? Jesus loves all immigration. Jesus had no immigration policies. Jesus wouldn't have immigration policies. Jesus wouldn't have laws against homosexuality. Jesus actually didn't see homosexuality as a sin, right? It's the right-wing Christians who have been giving you the wrong Jesus. I give you the right Jesus. I give you the Jesus that you need, right? You want an abortion? It's okay. Mary, the mother of Jesus, she could have aborted Jesus, right? She could have aborted Jesus at any given time. The fact that God had to come and ask her, hey, can you carry the Messiah? Sure, but if I'm not feeling it, God, if I'm not feeling it, right? If the pregnancy gets a little too tough, I will abort the kid, right? Because Mary is pro-abortion. James, what about Muslims who disagree with the view, and it seems like they want to be the ones to dictate it? No, they're all leading to the same place. But James, the Christianity has certain doctrines, and Islam has certain doctrines, and Buddhism has certain doctrines, and they're all saying different things. No, don't worry about it, man. They're religions of love, right? All religions of love follow the same thing. We're all going to the same place. That's what they want to hear. I wouldn't be surprised if James Talarico has a big co-ed bumper sticker on his car, because that's the type of guy that he seems to be. But I think in Texas, this is going to be interesting depending on who ends up debating him or fighting for that Senate seat between Cornyn and Paxton. But if he's already leading them by that much, with respectively for both of them, Texas could have James Talarico be represented as a senator, and that's going to be interesting for the left to see how they use him in the midterms, and even later on, maybe in 2028. It'll be interesting to see. Again, guys, what do you believe about James Talarico? What do you think about this man? Right? If Megyn and other people are sounding the alarms for the GOP, should the Republicans be afraid? And are you okay with James Talarico using Christianity to his way? Are you okay with that? Right? To me, it's the same thing as the Christian nationalism. He's just pushing it in a nicer way. But guys, thank you for the follow. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Hit the like button, and I'll catch you all on the next episode.